at a time.
Weren't you on?
How about you, Bill?
All set? Welcome to the 12/7/2022 meeting of the Lyman Planning Board. This meeting will come to order. This is a public proceeding, and unless the board specifically votes for an executive session, you have the right to hear everything that is being said and look at all the exhibits that are offered. If the board votes to go into executive session, the reason for the same shall be stated. Please notify the board chair if you're having difficulty seeing or hearing. This meeting is being recorded for YouTube. In each instance, the burden is upon the applicant to demonstrate compliance with the provisions of the applicable ordinance or ordinances. After the board votes on the merits of each project, it will prepare a written opinion, which will be forwarded within 7 days. The board works for a prepared agenda will be considering this meeting's items in the following order. First, determine if planning board quorum is present. New business, Daniel Maclot, tax map 16, lot 45, 49 Shore Road, best practical location review. CEO business, minutes, old business, and mail. All right, we do have a quorum here tonight.
Do we want to do a roll call or not for the record?
Sure.
Joe Wagner, 26 Day Road.
Don Hernan, 33 Murphy's Way.
Rod T2, 357 Walker Road.
Cecile Dupuy, 53 Chapel Shores Road.
Paul Boucher, 88 Old Pump Road. Bill Single, 8 Single Lane.
Sure it's not 9.
No, it's the only house, but I'm number 8.
You got plans.
So on the new business, we have Daniel Maclot, and that's for the best practical location. And we went and looked it over, it looked pretty simple. I mean,
Yeah.
where they're gonna put the house is actually taken like 15 feet off the front, and it lines up with the neighbors' houses. So she said she'd be ready sometime around February, so I'll make a motion, we table that until she's ready.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, CEO business?
I have a couple of things.
Okay.
I think you saw that June made you copies of the new charter.
Yeah.
And it's pretty specific. Every board and committee in town does have to come up with a mission statement and mission statement. I think you've got bylaws.
We have
We
both.
have a mission
They're both.
And you've got a mission statement.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'll do
We're
is
all
I'll
done.
just get those and submit them probably to Lindsay, so I'll take care of that. Yeah. And I have, for the building fees, they are archaic, absolutely archaic. So I went to the Board of Selectmen and asked them if I could go ahead and review those and make a recommendation to them. But in doing so, I also looked at the planning fees. And there's a couple of things, in fact, I made a list. These are my suggestions. The primary change I'm looking at is your subdivisions. We currently charge $2,500 for an application. That's if it's 4 lots or 20 lots, which seems kind of unfair. So what I'd like to do is maybe $1,000 for the application and $250 for each lot. And I think that makes it more fair. So if it's 4 lots, it'll be another $1,000. If it's 20 lots, it will be $5,000. I think that keeps it more equitable.
Yep.
I'd like you to think about that. Tell me what you think.
So, put it right out straight, the application fee's $1,000 regardless, how many lots you have.
Regardless.
If you have 10 lots, it's gonna be $2,500 for the 10 lots, at $250 a piece.
It's going to be $1,000.
Another
plus-
$2,500 for the
Right,
lots.
exactly. And I'd like to add to that, and I think these might be a little discretionary. I'd like to add a plan review for like the preliminary, the final, and any revision they want to do. Only because either I have spent a lot of time on Brock Road, on Zoom meetings, I've gone out there, I've met with her twice in here, spent a lot of time with her. And also that gives us a budget to send it to
So
whatever consultant we want to send it to.
Yeah.
So rather
Legal.
than bill them for it, so what happens is Southern Maine bills us for that, we have to bill the applicant, and it gets really messy. So I thought if we automatically charge in the fee the $250. Now, if you feel like, if we don't use it or whatever, we can always reimburse them for whatever, if that's what you feel. But I'd really like you to consider that because we are spending a lot of time on that. So and then I thought, if things go smooth, we don't spend a lot of time on it, they come in here totally prepared, we run with it, then we don't have to charge them for it. But I think, I'd like to see the department more fee generated than tax generated. I think the users should be paying the fees instead of the citizens. So that's what I'm trying to accomplish with both departments, the building side of it and the planning side of it. So that's why I went with this. I didn't know if you could just kind of take a look at it, see if you think it's reasonable, or if you see something you think would work better. I'm all ears.
Okay, so, wait a minute, so right now, so I'm just trying to figure this out here for a second. So 1,000 for, you're talking subdivision, so 1,000 for the application, 250 per lot, and then how much for the reviews, what it costs, or a fee?
Well, I'd like it to be a fee,
Okay,
but if you feel like that's too much, it's going to be used, at least for the preliminary, because that's where you're spending your time.
Right,
Until they get it the way you want it. So at least for the preliminary and definitely for any revision.
so it would cost them the $1,000 to $250 per lot, and then it would cost them for the plan review portion.
I didn't change a lot. The conditional use best practical location, I think they were both 300. And actually, it's not in our ordinance.
Yeah.
It just says it's generated by the selectmen.
Right.
And I noticed that the subdivision application has 2 different prices on it.
Okay.
So I think along the line, maybe something changed and never got revised on. So we'll clean that up, if you agree to go along this line.
Well, I think it's a good idea.
And I have no issues with it
And I mean,
whatsoever.
our fees
No, I
haven't
think
increased
it's a
at
good
all. In
idea.
fact, I think the previous CEO brought the fees down. Remember, it used to be like 300, it used to be
It was 500 for a while and then went to
Yeah,
300.
then she brought it down because she felt that, that
Well, but
we were
previously,
reimbursing all the time.
remember, we used to track, we didn't, but
Yes.
I know when Irene was here, she tracked every hour that was spent
Yep,
Right.
and the expenses, and it just, I don't know how she did it, but,
Yeah.
and then if there was money left over, it went back to the applicant.
It's
That
asking
thing's
too much
crazy.
of
I
the
mean, it's-
treasurer for one, and
Yeah,
I
it
just,
just
I'm not,
lost.
I'm not an accountant. I
Yeah.
saw that Patty did it too, but I think,
Too much work for,
I think it's a lot of work, and really for a subdivision, this board is putting a lot into it. It really is. You may not even realize how much you're putting into it, but I think it needs to be fee generated.
so
Sounds
what,
good to me.
well, should we make a motion and vote?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Let's go forward,
So
Yeah.
that sends forward to the selectmen for,
review.
I think it's really a vote to recommend it to the selectmen because they make the final decision, but I really would love to show them I have your support in this.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that the planning board vote to recommend the new fee structure as presented by the CEO to the select board for their review and approval.
second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Thank you very much, I
Thank you.
appreciate that. This is the first time I've really stuck my neck out, so I like having this support. And there was just one more, I'd like to make a suggestion, and it just occurred to me that maybe we didn't think about it, but we have two alternates, and we definitely have, we have a senior and a junior alternate, is that how they say it? I think it's just tenure is what it amounts to.
Yep.
But I would like to see you consider maybe allowing the alternates to alternate voting, so that one isn't voting all the time and the other one's never voting. And I think we could do it because you always designate who the voting member is that evening, and it's in the minutes, so it wouldn't be hard to track. So the next time someone had the opportunity to vote, Julie or I could definitely tell you whose turn it is to vote. And I would like to consider that. And if we do that, maybe we'd have to, I don't know how it is in your bylaws, I'm
Yeah,
not sure if it even states that. But I think it might be, for your second alternate, might be a little more encouraging that, I know they participate. Both your alternates participate, excellent, they're right there.
Well, I actually think it's a good idea, but
I think so. Is there something somehow I thought I was remembering something about that, and maybe it was my memory, it might possibly be in the ordinance. It might be, again, sometimes I remember things that aren't there, but not unusual. Somewhere. There is some stuff about that planning board in the, I don't know, where the heck is it? Somewhere.
I don't see anything in the bylaws.
All it says in the bylaws is, alternate board members are expected to attend all meetings and workshops and may participate in all proceedings, but may not vote on a project that is before the board unless the chair has designated an alternate to fill a full member's seat for that project. Alternate members may sign plans and use permits on a project when they have been designated by the chair to fill the seat of a full member. So it doesn't specify,
Doesn't specify seniority or,
no,
Yeah, so the way that's written, we're good to do.
yeah, I
So
think
you
it's a
don't
good
have to
idea
ask us, which is a
to
good
alternate
idea.
the alternates.
And I think what Julie could do is we're talking about how we would handle this, and maybe she could put a sticky on your agenda of who's eligible that evening, if the need is there.
okay, that's a good idea.
Excellent.
Yeah, what I was thinking about was under Article 8 site plan review, it does talk there about when it says vacancies in the board shall be filled by advertising, blah, 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 for new members. And then it talks about, if you're voting, a member alternate is assigned to vote, blah, blah, blah. And shall have attended the meeting, because we had that question, what you had to do if you didn't attend all the minutes. And then it also talks about getting rid of a planning board member. But I don't think it says anything about, because it doesn't say anything about alternates in here. I mean, from a perspective of what you're discussing. Just mentioned. Okay.
Anything else, Brenda?
No, I think,
So we got minutes.
Yeah, there's, I mean,
Lots of minutes.
well, we've got lots of minutes, and when we get to some of them, I left out something on some of them.
Okay, did everybody get to read the November 16th, 2022 planning board meeting minutes? Is everybody happy with them? Well, I'll make a motion, we accept the November 16th, 2022 meeting minutes as written.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We also have the June 1st, 2022 public hearing and regular meeting minutes. Did everybody get a chance to read those?
Yeah, I think that Patty did the June 1st ones before she left. And we never approved them that I could find in the record. But she pretty much did them. I reviewed them, made some very minor editorial changes, and I think she did a pretty good job. So I think they're in good shape. I don't think there's too much issue there. I have some issues with some of the others that somebody else did like me, but I'll mention that when we get to that point.
Any other discussion on June 1st?
Move to approve.
I'll second that. Any more discussion? All in favor of approving the public hearing and regular meeting minutes for June 1st, 2022?
Aye.
Now, did everybody get to read the June 15th, 2022 planning board meeting minutes?
Yes.
Yeah, this is the one I did. The only thing that's incorrect here is I attached wording of the proposed zoning change, which should attach that to the email that went out. But I did not.
Is it in your folders?
It's in, what I'm trying to say is it's incorrect. Because, yeah, it's in here. It's not horrible, but what it doesn't have on it is there's, the back page should have this, the wording is about Huff Road. Huff Road isn't on those minutes. This thing was what we put together, I think, in March. And anyhow, without getting too too crazy on it. We added on this thing about Huff Road, and I didn't have that in here. I sent out, I've got too many copies of too many things. So I sent out this, as part of that, the zoning changes, but it doesn't have the Huff Road one on it, which I happen to have a copy for the record here, which I'll give to Julie. And basically, it just says, shall an amendment to the zoning map be enacted as follows? Change the zone from general purpose to residential from Chantel Lane to South Waterboro Road for a distance westerly of 1,000 feet from Huff Road. So it's just my error. And that's, but this is what was attached to the notice of public hearing that was put on, this is what was put on the website at the time. And the one for, which we referred to July 6th. So in other words, bottom line is I didn't add on those words. So I've got this for the record here. So other than that, I think, and I just, whether, anyhow, just a matter of missing it. So I'd like to make a motion to accept it as modified,
Second.
adding the correct verbiage for the public hearing and the proposed zoning changes.
Okay, we have motion and second, any discussion? All in favor of accepting them as modified?
Aye.
Aye.
So we're gonna wait till they're modified to sign?
No, it won't affect, it just attach the correct attachment and then it's just fine. As far as the wording is concerned. Too many copies. We've got 2, 6.
Do you want to attach your,
I'm gonna give it to you.
clip it to that so it all stays together?
Yeah.
Just,
No.
let's not lose papers. We've done that before.
You don't want to lose papers.
It was my fault, yes.
Oh,
Let's not do it.
It wasn't your fault.
Oh, yeah, it kind of was. I didn't put the stickies on the front. I just want you to know that there was a lady that came into the code office and she likes how I treat all of you and how I keep you in line.
She notices, huh?
That wasn't my wife, was
Um,
it? I'm surprised.
She's gonna give lessons.
So-
Did everybody get those? Go ahead, Julie.
I was gonna say, they can sign up for lessons.
Yeah. Did everybody get to read the public hearing and regular meeting minutes for July 6th, 2022?
Yes.
Okay, here again, there's something that should be added. First of all, the same email, or this, the same listing, because it says, I put in there, complete, on page 2 there in bold, I said, complete wording of the proposed zoning change attached to this minutes of the public hearing for the record. So that same copy should be attached to this.
Okay.
And then, I'm surprised you guys didn't pick this up, but down under where it says John Tibbetts email to the bottom of page 2.
Yes.
Well, John Tibbetts email, I was going to attach a copy of that to this also.
Okay.
But I didn't do that because I didn't give it to you, but I happen to have the one, I'm not sure who marked this up, whether it was, might have been, probably Patty, because this is what was in our packet at the time. And I'm not sure if we have it electronically or not, but I was going to attach that to this, along with those zoning changes, the copy, and that would cover it. But this was, I think we read this, as I recall, we read the whole thing, and I didn't want to, maybe I could have copied it into the minutes, but I said probably just as well to attach this here. And
Yeah, I think you're better off.
it's what John, and he wrote just, basically, he wrote something to be read at the meeting, which we did, and we did consider it. But anyhow, so that's my only recommended changes to this, if you wouldn't mind.
So it's just the attachments that are missing. I mean, there's
Yeah.
there's no change to your minute.
Not that I,
This was.
unless somebody can find something else, I don't know. I hope not.
No, looks good.
Hope not. No, I think It is more of a pain than, I really do, I gotta say, I appreciate having Julie do the minutes because she does a good job. And it's a pain to do them, especially if you're going back and listening to the audio. Because I think those couple of meetings there, the YouTube was working, but the audio, because of operator error, primarily me, I think, we didn't have any audio associated with the video, or if we did have it, it was very weak.
It was, yes, it was
So
distorted.
Lindsay didn't put those, they're not on the website. What's on the website is the audio, which is pretty good, except that obviously you got to know who's saying what.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
that's why,
It's a little bit of guessing.
yeah, there is some guessing in there.
Yeah.
It's not as clean as it could be.
I noticed Monday night select board meeting, the audio was not very good either. I don't know what was going on, but they were having a lot of trouble with the audio.
Oh, they were trying to do a Zoom thing because
Oh.
Dave Alves couldn't be here, and I think that,
Oh, there was
What you were
feedback and it was,
Yeah,
yeah.
you gotta have,
really-
it's not well, you,
It's not complicated.
but, yeah, you can do it. I mean, you've done a great job with it, but some people had trouble.
So the July 6th, 2022 public hearing, regular meeting minutes, you want to attach these to them?
Yes, and I think that would be fine.
Well, I make a motion, we accept the public hearing and regular meeting minutes, July 6th, 2022, with the attachments.
A second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And just so you know, that leaves us with, I think, 4.
Yeah, I think there's one more to go.
I was absent on that one. then.
Right. Right, you were. And they're done. Cecile did one, I did 3. I didn't want to send them out just before this meeting because I thought that was too much. Just try for everybody to have a chance to look through, but I'll talk to Cecile afterwards, and as long as you're ready, I'll send them out.
Sure.
For everybody to review for the next meeting, and we get them all done. And that would bring us up to, we'd be up to snuff then. We'd have them all completed, assuming we can, approve them, review and approve them. So anyway, that's what I wanted to touch on.
All right, so the old business, we got Joshua Martino, map 1, lot 5, 331 Brock Road. That's the high quality cottages. He's trying to get a topographic survey for the property, but they are booked out, so we'll have to wait. And we got the Brock Road cluster subdivision, tax map 1, lot 12-1, 10 residential lots. They're currently focused on a letter of map revision through FEMA, which we'll probably file in a month or so. There's a little hold up in the survey scheduling, but the review process for the LMI should go on what's submitted. Half residential subdivision, tax map 3, lot 87-3, proportion of tax map 3, lot 87-2, Old Kennebunk Road. 9 residential lots, no new information.
The pending issue there in Broad was exactly where the
road.
dividing line between Alfred and
Yep.
Devon was. Still like determined.
And we got Green Acres marijuana grow facility on hold. Documentation is available for planning board to continue review of Green Acres grow facility.
What are we gonna do? What do we want to do on that? Anything?
Oh,
I
I think we should table this or
Yeah.
take it off the roster until he comes in with the information.
is it,
Yeah, we've been rolling it forward every
Yeah.
meeting, yeah.
is anybody,
I thought we had agreed and voted that we were gonna wait till Brenda got the information all together for us to look at and do what I thought we had said we were gonna do.
That's part of the goal too.
I've got a lot of it done. I was doing really well. It was right in order the whole way, and I thought it was all done because it was a vote, and then that was like in December. And then all of a sudden, I have all of this paperwork of something in May. So I either have to meet with someone that knew the progression or Dave himself, or I don't know. Or maybe just table it until,
I just,
I would suggest table it myself.
the only thing I worry about is that, I'm not worried about it, I'm just saying that
Thank you.
the way that court order was written, it said that we should just, the way it reads sort of, I guess it does read this way, is that we should just go ahead and have another public hearing. Well, and then I was raising issues, and Cecile also a little bit too, I think, about whether the info that we were looking at was correct. And we tried to get the applicant to come and talk about it, and he did a little bit. So I don't know. I mean, I just don't want to, I don't know whether we need to go back to the lawyer and say anything or not. That's my concern, not concern, but thought. Whether we need to do anything, or do we tell the lawyer,
I
hey,
didn't think the court order had any particular time frame. It just
it
said
didn't. No,
No, it just
but
said-
that you have to hold a public hearing. It didn't say when or under what circumstances. So I don't know if we're not ready or the applicant isn't ready, then.
well, could I suggest, I'm not trying to give you work, but I was wondering maybe if you might want to reach out to the applicant and just ask him, is he, because he did indicate he wanted to go forward. That's my recollection. And I'm not bugging him one way or the other, but, if he wants to go forward, well, then it'd be nice to put him on the schedule and go forward. If he doesn't want to go forward, then we can just strike it and say, if he wants to modify, he said he didn't want to modify, but anyhow, I don't have an axe to grind one way or the other, except that it's sitting here. And I don't want anybody to say, hey, the planning board's holding it up for some reason, or not doing what we're supposed to do. But
The applicant might be able to provide some clarification on that additional paperwork that you came across in terms of chronology, and whether or not it was part of the initial presentation to us.
yeah, and I still have, I have my packet, my green packet, and it has some new things in it that we had looked at, but there's still some question as to what is current. So,
Yeah, I did find mine too, by the way.
Yeah.
I do have that
Did
new
you
one.
have it?
so I don't know, would that be okay with you? I mean, would you
I can do
mind
that.
doing, I mean,
Yeah.
maybe there's something else that's changed that we don't know about.
I will definitely do that.
Appreciate it. That's the only thing I had to comment about.
So we really have nothing on the next agenda unless some of this stuff comes in or something new.
And I was going to ask you, is this how you want the agenda? If we have no information, no new information, or no, documents or anything, do you still want it on the agenda as a placeholder, or does it clutter the agenda up? How do you
No,
want
it's
it?
fine as a placeholder.
Okay. Okay.
Well, I think it helps, I mean, at least I don't know whether anybody's said anything, members of or voters or anything, or residents, but it does say why we're not moving on it. And if they have any questions, then they could come in and ask Brenda or Julie, say, where's this stand?
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
status
I like
update.
That works
It's a
for
good
me.
way for things not to get lost in the
Mhm.
cracks, but I wasn't sure if it gets too complicated.
They're open issues, right? They're
And
issues
as-
that we have not been able to resolve.
And as the applicant has responded to say in an email when I've asked if they've got anything new, like the Brock Road one,
Oh, yeah.
I put the information in bold at the end,
Yep.
so that's something new that they just sent to
Okay.
me.
So I guess for our next agenda, if something comes in, we'll put it on there.
And I'll send out minutes. I'll get with Cecile, and we'll send out the remaining 4 sets of minutes that were outstanding. Get those done with.
Get them away from us.
No, we're done. Oh, and also, I'm gonna, just for information, there's no action required on anybody's part. I made up a little sheet. I'm gonna ask for some additional hours for the time I spent on these minutes. I just happen to have that. I'm gonna give it to Cecile. So, who gets our time sheets? You get them?
No, I think Julie gets them, right? Well, I
Okay.
did the one
The
when
one
we
we
didn't
were-
have an admin person,
I'll give this to
CEO,
Julie.
but I haven't been keeping track of the hours. I'm assuming that Julie is doing that,
Yeah, okay.
right? Are you doing that, Julie? You're keeping track of our hours?
We
Time
can
we
figure,
spent.
we can figure that out for you in a minute.
Anyway,
The minutes, yeah.
I'm asking for 14 hours for the work I've done, and that's it.
I
Yeah,
think that's reasonable.
Yeah.
it is. I
The
mean,
minutes
You're
take a lot of time.
supplementing
they do. I mean,
know.
the entire meeting has to be listened to
It's my peer
and
book.
More than
yes,
once.
back and
And there's a lot of research.
No, I,
So-
yeah, minutes are-
It's worth it for the frustration.
Anyway, thank goodness.
Before you adjourn, can I ask one last question? I'm sorry, I should have
Sure.
made a
No.
list. The article that was voted in at the last election, at
Oh.
6.3.1, I'm not sure, and this group did write that
Yeah,
prior to the, I'm not sure how you want me to interpret that. It pretty, I mean, how I think it says is that you have a principal building,
yeah.
but there's no definition for principal, so,
Principal use.
okay. So they can put, in these three instances, I can permit as many accessory buildings as will fall under the 20% lot coverage and the setbacks.
Yes.
What are the use of those? I mean, are those ADUs? Are they another residence?
They can't be a residence, right? It's not a dwelling unit, but it could have electricity and whatever, right? I think
See,
it's just a-
I wouldn't think it'd be a residence either because
Yeah, it's not, because that's an
Because of the way the building
accessory.
codes are, you have to have 3 acres to have a house, residential.
But, so what does this mean? I mean, that's how I read it.
Sheds,
Yeah.
sheds, pools, before, I think like even a swimming pool was counted as an accessory
It's a structure.
structure, so anything permanent that you
So
put on
not
there.
ADUs.
No, accessory dwelling units is something else. And you can only have one, on a residential, I think it's one dwelling unit. Right now, the way but you could have an accessory dwelling unit, which would be the 600 square foot
Yeah.
limit, a
Yeah,
650 square foot limit.
Apartment or something like
Yeah,
that.
like an in-law apartment.
Both accessory use, in the definitions in part 12, accessory use or structures, the use or structure of a nature customarily incidental and subordinate to those of a principal use or structure. So and then under principal use, it says the use to which the lot is primarily devoted.
Right.
But I hope this wording, it doesn't give us problems, but the idea was to enable people to put on, for example, more barns and things like that, because the way one interpretation was that you couldn't have more than like one barn, and say somebody in agriculture wanted to have several barns or
For several greenhouses.
yeah, and stuff like that, and it turned into a real hassle for a while. So
I'm glad I asked because I think I was interpreting that way too liberally. I thought that maybe that was that step towards LD 2003
Yeah,
that you
no.
were
Yeah.
saying, because it is gonna come to that.
Yes.
it probably will.
So I have a question on that whole issue. So what if I have a 5 acre lot or 3 acre lot and I build a house and then I decide I want a bigger house? So I'm gonna make the original house my guest rooms and build a new house. Where does that fall?
Huh.
Well, that's
Is your guest room gonna have a kitchen in it?
Sure.
Well, yeah,
Then I
you
don't
can't
think
do
it
that,
qualifies as a guest room.
right. It's a dwelling unit.
It makes sense. I was just,
Yeah.
I'm thinking of that. and-
Yeah, it's a dwelling unit, but you can have a garage, a bedroom
Yeah.
on top,
Yeah.
I suppose, and, 4 sheds, a pool, tennis court. And that was something that I was concerned about, is that if we, now we're adding another liberal feature here, because you could have, if you have a 20-acre lot, you could cover a heck of a lot of ground with all kinds of buildings. And, you could have an issue with the neighborhood if you have a shopping mall on your 20-acre lot.
And that's where I was headed with my thinking, is because it talks about primary use and subordinate use. I honestly thought that meant that it could be living area.
Yeah.
They
But you
didn't
could be
say
living
that it
there.
wasn't living area.
The
You could be
word
living there and
dwelling
have
is not mentioned.
auto body shop, a home occupation.
But
So
they
that would
would
be
have,
2 uses, but,
they'd have to come here for a conditional use at
right,
least.
yeah.
Okay, but not residential, not a residence.
Right.
I wish it said that.
Well, nowhere does it use the word dwelling, so that would, I think, it's precluded.
Wait,
I'm glad
are
I
you-
asked that.
You were looking, I think, weren't you reaching out or getting periodic information on that LD 2003?
Yes, and I gave copies to all of the ordinance review committee
Right.
because I feel like that's a priority.
Yeah.
Definitely a priority.
But it has to be affordable housing, right?
It doesn't say that.
I think it does.
Not,
In
not,
the state,
I didn't give this board a copy. I'll get you a copy. I think it had two different levels. One was affordable and the other one, I don't think so. But I'll get you copies. You need that.
And
What is it called again?
LD,
22003. We have copies of it everywhere because I made them for the ordinance review committee.
And regulations are still pending, I believe.
I'm sorry.
Regulations
LD 2003.
are still
Right
pending
here.
at this point, still in.
There's something.
Correct.
As far as I know, that was the latest and greatest, because that can change any minute.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to stay on top of that. There's a communication thread that's going on that specific, and I try to monitor that and see if there's anything new that's being offered. That seemed to be the last that I've seen for a while.
We're sort of running out of time on that. I mean, it's supposed to go into effect
July
July 1st.
July
The
1.
the rules, we don't know what the rules are. So,
So we'll get
No,
on
it's
June
not the
30th.
first time they've done that.
Well, that's it.
We'll start talking about
Time for
that.
public comments,
Yeah.
that's a requirement. So,
Oh, yeah.
here we go again.
And then is the rule the same across the state? Every town, every
It's supposed to
city
be.
has the same rule? I think there's something about like municipal services, whether
If
they're
you don't
available or
have
not.
town
I mean,
water,
There's a
so-
lot of,
There's something in there. I
there
don't
are
know.
some conditions that can,
I know a few members of the ordinance review committee has really delved into that and digested a lot of it, so maybe I'll have more for you. They're meeting tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow night. Yeah, I'll go to and listen in. So,
We started with 5, we're going to end up now with 7, I believe. We've added one more person, so they decided to make it the odd number, which I think is great, because I think they have so much work to do that maybe they should form subcommittees to do the research and thing and bring it back. And that way maybe they've got a lot of work ahead of them.
yeah, it's true.
One other question. Next meeting is December,
21st, is it?
yes, 21st. In the past, we had done a little get-together. I'm not sure if people want to do that or not. I mean, last time we did it, there were
Almost,
Everybody
if we don't
went
have
home.
anything on the schedule, we should start a meeting in January.
can do that too. The only thing will be pending will be reviewing minutes.
Yeah.
At least, I mean, as far as I know, unless something else comes up, and that doesn't have to be done necessarily next meeting.
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of my thought on it. It's-
So if
We
nothing
would
comes
like that, wouldn't we, Joe?
I don't know what anybody else
I like that
thinks.
thought, Ralph.
See
No
it?
complaints here, no.
No problems with me on that. I'll send out those, that'll give you plenty of time to review these minutes.
That's right. That's
Give
the
you a whole
homework.
month to look it over.
So I don't know what the first Wednesday in January will be, but
I get there.
January 1st is on
The
Sunday.
4th.
Sunday?
It'll be the 4th.
January 4th.
so have our next meeting January 4th, at 6 o'clock.
Unless something comes in that requires action. But I don't know if
If
they-
something major comes in, we can reach out to you and you
Yeah.
can decide whether you think you need.
But I
to
think,
or
you know,
not.
it's so close to Christmas, let's.
Yeah,
What was,
No, we got a notice from DEP that they're expanding. We don't have any paperwork on that.
all right.
That will take a long.
And that's not unusual. Usually they go through DEP before they come ask.
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah, that way they kind of have the ducks lined up.
And how do you treat something like that? Is that like, that's a modification?
And how do you treat it last?
my memory is like zero.
Because once,
So if we were out there.
once
before-
we pass it, once we pass the sand pit, it goes to the CEO to keep re-upping the permits.
Yeah, there's no, we used to be, they had to inspect every 2 years. We changed that in the ordinance. We didn't, I mean, the voters approved that. So we don't inspect it, as long as they keep it active, they don't have to come back every 2 years.
I'll pull the paperwork and you.
Yeah, Patty had given us a report this year. I don't know what month it was, but remember it listed,
Oh, yeah.
it listed all the
Correct.
the pits and
What was that?
that she had
That's right.
inspected
Oh,
and
maybe I can find that. That would be
Yeah.
excellent.
if I find it, I'll.
The assessor, I asked the assessor for a list of all of the gravel pits in town, but I don't, and I got a list, you know, from her taxation records. But I don't know if those are active or, you know, I have no idea. So, and there were a few on there too.
Yeah, there are quite a few.
Yeah, I don't have a list. I don't have.
Yeah,
I do remember that.
remember that? She did give us a list.
Maybe it's buried in some of my paperwork. It's possible. Anything Get in.
So it had to be before, when did she leave? June? It would have to be before June
Yeah.
that she shared that with us. Maybe it was last year, but it seemed like it wasn't that long ago.
No, it wasn't that long ago.
Oh.
It was this fall.
Was it this year?
Well, I'm getting rid of stuff, so maybe if I run across it, not run over it, just destroy it.
You run over before
Just
you
run
bring
over
it in.
it.
Yeah, but my shredder runs over.
Rule of thumb, Dawn, if it fits in the skillet, kill it.
If it's in the shredder, shred it.
All right, is there anything else? If not, I'll make a motion, we close the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hope everybody has a good holiday.
Yes, Merry Christmas, everyone. Hallelujah.
I gotta have to sign this one because we need it dated. The date that it went out.
I was just ready to give up my pen.
For the year, huh? Not gonna touch it this year.
All righty. Brenda, before you go.
No.
I'll check.
We'll have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah,
Should be fine if you,
Maybe no snow?
I don't know.
It looks
so
like it's
lucky.
moving in that direction. No complaints here.
Well,
you saw-
kind of, week before Christmas,
Yes,
and then melted by the end of January.
that's perfect.
I'd be happy.
Put the order in.
All right.